The SJS administrator would appreciate that this initiative is coming from us, and that kind of builds up the support in itself. If all of the college councils say that this is something that that could be effective, I think also they can take it then to their next level to lobby for more support in their case. I mean, this is what we thought, over a long period of time, what can be the most cost-effective way to have each and every member uphold our responsibility to the honor code and to the university. I can't see any other way that could be more cost-effective than the website. I mean, imagine if we open up a hotline where students can call in. I mean, that's a lot of people that have to actually be sitting in cubicles somewhere. And if it's just an email address, and managing an email is not as easy as managing, a spreadsheet that comes out of a form submission, and that is much more efficient. You can see the data much more clearly. And I think I currently don't have any other way that we've kind of discussed that could be more cost-effective that at the same time could get every student participating. And what we're saying is every student should be participating. We shouldn't not participate just because our tuition is going to be paying for academic integrity. What I'm saying is that academic integrity should be paid for. We should want it, and this is the cheapest way to go for it.
I guess I just have a question. In essence, basically, then if there's an academic dishonesty case, then the student can be penalized without the professor ever being even consulted or notified that this is happening?
No, that was one of the results that we added, is that SJS will notify the professor.
It says at their discretion.
At SJS's discretion.
So do they actually technically have to?
Well, we don't think that SJS would have enough evidence in their investigation without consulting the professor. It would just be, I don't know, inconsiderate on behalf of the student that's accused for SJS to go forward with the process based on, just one student's witness account. So.
Do you have a friendly amendment?
Yes. Make a motion for a friendly amendment that goes on line 87. It says resolve. The SJS shall only review and accept reports from the initial time of the incident through the time the grades are received by the students. And it says otherwise accusations will be null and void and be inferred.
I think we accept that.
Do you accept that?
Yes.
Okay, that has been added to SR 205.
Thank you.
I have a point of parliamentary inquiry. You said this is discussion and debate. I'm curious, are we having Q&A, or is this also time for formal amendments? I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, this is discussion and debate. I mean, if people have questions and they want to answer them, I'm allowing that.
But then you can also, it's also time for debate, so formal amendments.
Yes, this is formal debate. We have a 20-minute time limit on discussion and debate. We're at 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay. Well, I'll propose mine initially as a friendly amendment. If you guys don't take it, then I'll propose it as a formal amendment. This goes to what you just asked. I can't see your name tag over there, but removing on line 97 at their discretion. So this would force SJS to actually have to not allow them discretion. Of course, this is going to go up to them. This is just a bill, but I think this bill should push forward on not giving them that choice. I mean, professors need to be notified of this.
One of the reasons why we put at the discretion is not to prevent professors from knowing what's happening. They should know. And I think SJS will know that naturally because they rely on the professor so heavily for their current reporting system. One of the main reasons then, it is because it's a website. People are going to post stuff on there. That is, I think Professor X is Y. And that is not exactly, statements like that. If I were a professor, I wouldn't appreciate receiving emails from the SJS every day with regards to all different sorts of accusations that students come up with, or all different kinds of suggestions. If there are things that are mostly for data, collection purposes, I don't think the professor needs to know until at the end of the semester or something, so that there are professors who don't have the capabilities to pull the data from all of the reports that they might receive via SJS. So I think it's something that SJS should consider. If it's something that is one student accusing another student kind of a situation, then I think that definitely, SJS will definitely let them know because the faculty are important in the current, what is it called, flow chart But you know, if it's something that is, you know, not relevant, I think the SJS should have the power to say, no, I will not forward this to the professor. I think that is not relevant. So that was one of the reasons why we kind of put at the discretion.
Point of order,
because
Chelsea,
we
I don't mean to be rude, but
trust
this is
the
debate.
SJS.
Like,
Are
I
you-
asked,
are you
a
not
friendly
accepting
amendment was
his friendly
proposed.
I don't know if the other councils.
All right, I moved to formally amend then.
So, okay, you have not accepted this friendly amendment, I'm asking all the presenters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it would
Okay, so
involve
there's a motion
councils
to
would like
formally
to
amend SR
advocate.
1005. Is there a motion to amend 1005?
I
Yes,
moved to
okay.
formally amend.
All those in favor of adding Austin Carlson?
Point of order, this is debatable.
Okay. David?
We'll finish up discussion with debate and then we can vote on the actual legislation and then any formal amendments after we've voted on the actual legislation.
Okay. So we have 2 minutes left of discussion and debate.
But once the amendment takes precedence over the debate on the underlying bill.
I do not recall. So you're saying that we should be.
So we were in debate on the bill. I made a motion to amend. That motion to amend takes precedence and it has to be disposed of before you can get back to the underlying bill. So the motion, if nobody wants to debate, then we'll go straight to a vote. I was going to debate because debates already happened on that side, basically, because it was allowed to happen.
Oh,
so.
yes, for formal amendments, I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay, so we're now allowing debate over a formal amendment to SR 1005. Yes. Okay.
Can you repeat the amendment?
So the amendment is on line 97 to delete strike at their discretion.
Second.
Huda?
We're debating right now on the amendment.
We're debating on formal amendment to SR 1005, yes.
Okay, so real quick, Huda, President, National Sciences Council, 2 things. When we're stating questions, asking things, can we please say name and affiliation, just a friendly reminder on that? But also, to the point on the amendment that you're proposing, I don't think, like, this is kind of getting back to the point of why we're not forcing, for instance, professors to talk to SJS and to file complaints with them. I don't think any of us has the authority or the power to force SJS to report to professors. While we think in good faith they would, because, I mean, it's not harming anybody, professors need to be aware of this, I don't think we as students have the jurisdiction to say, you have to do it.
Okay, we'll go Adam and then Austin.
I would just like to point out that by removing at their discretion, it would just mean SJS has to notify the professor that a report has been made. This just means that they can receive an email saying, we received a report that there's academic disintegrity going on in your classroom. That doesn't mean the professor has to take action or anything. It's just saying SJS could create an electronically created email and send it to the professor.
Okay, Austin?
All right, Austin Carlson, Student Bar Association. The point of legislation is that we are just saying this is how we feel about something. If we were absolutely knew what was happening right now, then if we've said this is what's going to be implemented, then we would have had to take 10 steps back and already talked to SJS. The point is that we as the college councils are formalizing how students feel about it. So we're not ever really telling them what to do, we're telling them what we feel. And I think what we feel, very important aspect of this, is respecting one very important thing here. Faculty members, before this bill was passed or before anything happens, were in complete control over academic dishonesty. They had the autonomy. Nobody else told them what to do, they got to decide. Now we're making a big step here, and it's a fair step, to try to add another layer. But if we're going to add that layer, let's try to respect that autonomy as much as possible. I know this wording seems insignificant, but it's important to me, and the question that you asked is very valid. There should not be a situation where a report is made, where SJS is moving forward, and they never told the professor. That is disrespectful to professors, the faculty. I don't think hopefully it'll never happen, but it could. And I don't want to have any sort of legislation that we pass that's going to allow something like that. We need to be respectful to faculty, and I think that just deleting those words will be very important in moving that direction.
Okay, social work and then
Okay, social work council. The only thing I fear completely deleting the word at their discretion is that leaves a very broad timeline to when the professor could be notified. So I think if we're going to do something like this, we need to put in words in there, something along the lines of that there be some sort of timeline between when the report is filed and when it is closed, whether that it be closed because formal action has been taken, or that it be closed because there is insufficient evidence.
Annette Buckley with the Student Association for the School of Information. And I don't know if this kind of bridges the gap between what the two parties are saying. I can understand the pragmatic side of the professors aren't going to want to be spammed with emails saying there's a report, there's a report, there's a report if they're teaching an auditorium-sized classroom. Would it be possible maybe to instead, and I don't know the perfect wording off the top of my head, to introduce vocabulary to the effect of saying that the professor will be notified if SJS moves to actually instigate a formal investigation. So if they're simply collecting data and they choose not to investigate, then then that's something where they might just have that information available if the professor requests it. And then if they choose, okay, this is a serious accusation on part of the student, this seems like we want to investigate this, then at that point they must notify the professor. If it could get to the point where another student might be, there might be a penalty coming down upon that student.
I move to table so we can deal with this wording before we move forward in debate.
Okay. So we're now going to resume discussion and debate strictly on SR 205 and not the formal amendment.
But the table just lays everything aside as it is right now.
Okay, so you would like to move on to new businesses, is what I'm understanding.
So we can, because I agree with what she's saying, I think that may be a good compromise.
Okay, so there's a motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of tabling SR 205?
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed? Okay, moving on to new business, SR 1006, the Res Nova Initiative. I'll find the chair. Okay, as we move on to new business, I'm going to remind all presenters your constitution limited to 10 minutes to present.
Thanks, Chelsea. My name is Josh Fields. I'm an ally to the Curriculum Committee, and tonight I'm going to present Senate Resolution 1006 in support of the creation of the Res Nova Initiative. First, I'd like to say a little bit of what this is about, some background to it. The Res Nova Initiative is a personal project that I've been working on in coordination with the Curriculum Committee. It's basically an interdisciplinary capstone program that's designed to prepare students for graduate study. The purpose of this legislation in regard to the program is to create a standing committee that will be responsible for creating a dialogue between the Senate and the College of Undergraduate Studies to implement the program. The proposal for the program, which is included in the agenda meeting, calls for the program to be established under the School of Undergraduate Studies. And the legislation also expresses Senate support for the program proposal, and the objective of the program is to give the committee the mandate and legitimacy it needs to work with the College of Undergraduate Studies. And I feel that passing legislation in order to do this is extremely important, and it will make the committee's discussions with the School of Undergraduate Studies much more successful. What I want to do first is outline the program and tell you a little bit about its core purpose and the components, and then I'm going to go line by line through the legislation. Okay, so the program consists of three major components. The first is a series of 3 survey classes. The second is a capstone project, and the third is a case competition. Now, the program is centered around a core global issue. So students who apply to the program will apply and suggest a problem that they're interested in looking at, and students will choose a problem that ideally impacts the human experience, and then they'll come up with a proposed solution throughout the rest of the program. So the purpose of the 3 survey classes is to give students a broad perspective on the topic that they're choosing. And ideally, these survey classes will cover multiple departments and hopefully multiple colleges. And students then take a capstone class in which they'll write a thesis that proposes their solution. And like I said, the third component is a case competition, and students will win graduate school scholarships for proposing the most innovative ideas. So the idea is to encourage innovation and to prepare students for graduate study. Another complementary component to the program will be a distinguished faculty seminar series, and this series will be a completely student-run event where they will bring in passionate faculty to talk about their research interests and hopefully to inspire students who are working on their thesis. So I want to go through the legislation and point out, I think, what are some of the most important provisions. Lines 6 through 17 basically just cover